Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Top Hat Gaming Man here to bring you an exciting edition of Top Hat Chat. Well, I say it's exciting, it's not particularly exciting. It's whelming at best, I suppose. But yes, I'm joined by Luke Street, and us two actually run an additional channel known as Top Hat Chat. And I find it rather odd that there's 20,000 of you who watch this channel, but only 1,000 of you watch Top Hat Chat. What's that about? Get over to the other channel as well. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Thank you for the plug.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, anyway, we just watched Nintendo Direct on the Nintendo Wii U, as apparently, for some reason, the Nintendo Switch doesn't support YouTube. What's that about?
Yeah, that to be fair, that was one of the things that I thought was going to be announced.
Like, it doesn't support YouTube. Like, everything supports YouTube these days. How come the Nintendo Switch can't support YouTube? What is that about?
It can. There must be a reason why. It's just Nintendo, isn't it? I suppose that as a Japanese company, do they have YouTube in Japan?
Of course they do.
I thought they used... Or is it China?
Well, either way, Nintendo are a global company. If I could add it on, it's on the Wii U, and it was on the Wii. It's on the 3DS range, so why is it not on the Switch? So can someone let us know in the comment section, because that's just plain bizarre, isn't it? Really confusing.
It doesn't make any sense.
Anyway, let's talk about this Direct. I'm going to try my best not to bury it completely, because that would be rather predictable at this stage.
Should we start off
with my channel?
We'll start off right at the start.
Let's try and stay as positive as we can for a change.
Relative high note. New WarioWare game.
Oh yes, I remember that right at the beginning. That looked okay.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean it's a WarioWare game. We all know what WarioWare is.
WarioWare Gold, I believe it was called.
Yeah, which is a collection of... It's not a port, but it's as close you can get to a port without it being a port, I think.
I don't think so. I've played a hell of a lot of WarioWare, and I didn't recognise any of the mini games in that trailer. We couldn't really hear it, could we, because of the way we was recording.
Yeah.
But from watching the imagery, at least, I didn't recognise any of the mini games within it, and I've played a lot of WarioWare. I used to be bloody addicted to the Game Boy Advance game, the first one.
Yeah.
So yes, I love WarioWare. I was pleased to see that. But again, slightly odd that one of the few brand new games was not a port, and it's being released on the old hardware, the 3DS. Surely it would make more sense to put that on the Switch.
Well, they did promise when the Switch was...
It just feels like Nintendo always give me more reason to want to play the 3DS than the Switch.
Yeah. I mean, when the Switch was released, everyone was very worried that they were going to stop making games for the 3DS. And Nintendo said quite openly, we will not leave 3DS owners behind. This is not really to replace it.
They've announced loads of games for the summer for the 3DS, which is just ridiculous. They released
one for next year as well.
Detective Pikachu as well. That's not for the Switch. That's for the 3DS as well.
To be fair, that's good for me because I have absolutely zero interest in playing Detective Pikachu, and I don't own a 3DS. So if that would have come out for the Switch, I would have been very disappointed.
To be honest, out of some kind of sick curiosity, I probably will try Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
I don't know, unless it gets really bad reviews, like really, really bad. But then again, you can't really trust reviews.
You don't trust reviews anyway.
No, especially if they're good. If they're really, really good, that normally means the game's really, really bad.
Yeah.
Because if a game appeals to everyone, well, not everyone, but you know what I'm trying to say, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
More people are moronic than they are intelligent. So if a game's got overwhelmingly good reviews, it's not going to be to my taste.
Yeah. If it's a solid 80, then it's generally pretty good.
Yeah, probably.
With a few exceptions.
But anyway. Talking of ports, we always get wound up about ports on this channel, especially me. I like to about all the re-releases all the time.
Yeah.
The thing I was really confused about with this one, I wasn't just moaning about Switch ports. I was moaning about ports to the 3DS.
Yeah.
Old games from the Nintendo DS and
Sorry.
the GameCube, of all things, having games from those libraries being ported to the 3DS. So you've got these games from out-of-date hardware being ported over to a different piece of out-of-date hardware. Can you think of any logical reasoning behind that?
Again, to try and throw stuff out there for people to be excited. Maybe people are getting...
But you can't...
I know. I figured it out. Everybody on YouTube is so excited about all of the ports coming to the Switch. They thought we can't leave 3DS owners out.
They need the ports too.
So we need ports for the 3DS. So they've just started throwing them out.
That's true, yes. From what I've seen, most people are stupid enough to get excited over these old games.
It's YouTube's fault. It's YouTube's content creators and Nintendo fanboys' fault that 3DS is getting so many ports.
It's ridiculous. Like, I just can't understand it. Like, they're bringing out Luigi's Mansion. They released Luigi's Mansion 2 on the 3DS.
Yeah.
I think 5 or 6 years ago. So if they released the sequel 5 or 6 years ago, which was a major improvement from the original, why are they releasing the inferior original on the hardware, when the hardware, as they basically refined the system to in much greater depth at this point.
Yeah.
So why are they putting an old game on the system in its later stage of life, other than it's just, let's keep the 3DS on life support, let's chuck some crap at it. That's all I can think of. It doesn't make sense.
That's a decent analogy, to be fair.
But like, that's the thing, like, I can't see why anyone would get excited about Luigi's Mansion, because they've had, how long have they had now? They've had the opportunity to play it for the last 16 years.
Yeah.
So if you've not played it still within this 16-year time frame, then you can't be excited about it now. That's ludicrous. It's not like it was on the Wii U and people missed out on the Wii U because, oh, I'm not buying the Wii U because it didn't sell very well, so I'll just be a sheep and play exactly the same system as everyone else.
Yeah.
So at least there's a logical reason for people to be getting excited about the Wii U re-releases.
Yes.
There's no reason to get excited about a GameCube re-release because you can pick up Luigi's. They're everywhere.
And they were pretty popular as well, GameCubes.
Yeah, obviously it didn't do as well as other Nintendo platforms, but I believe it still sold well over 20 million units, which is that's a significant amount of GameCubes.
It did well enough to say most people. I mean, Luigi's Mansion was also a very popular game on a relatively popular console. Relatively.
Yeah.
So most people would have played it.
Yeah, so I can't see
At
what
some
would be
point,
excited about
like-
why would release it again. And the other one, which was it puzzled me even more actually, was Bowser's Inside Story, the Mario RPG. I found that rather odd on the basis that was a DS game, what looked really good, and the whole thing was in 2D. And now they've released this new version with 3D elements on the Nintendo 3DS with polygons, and it just looks terrible in comparison to the original version.
Yeah.
So why have they made a downgrade of the original game? Like, I cannot see. And that's it. Do you know what else makes it even odder?
Go on.
The fact that the 3DS can play DS games anyway. So you could already play that game on the 3DS.
Somebody asked that in one of the comment sections of one of the other videos, actually. So I'm glad that you've answered
That
that.
doesn't make.
Yeah.
How can you re-release a DS game on the 3DS when the 3DS is backwards compatible with DS? I can't get my head around that.
Yeah, it would be like the Switch being able to play
Play.
Wii U games. It would make all the ports redundant.
It would. So I don't understand that. That's what I'm saying. A lot of this it puzzles me. So let's move on from that. What happened past the 3DS section? It transitioned into the Switch section.
There was something that actually I don't mind too much regarding ports,
What's that?
and that was Crash.
Crash. Why does Crash excite you being ported?
Because Sony are renowned for not sharing.
It's not a Sony game, or is it? Is it a Sony game?
But it's not. It
Naughty
was,
Dog, isn't it?
But it was a Sony exclusive title, wasn't it? I'm
Actually,
adamant
no.
I'm not wrong.
Naughty Dog, I'm not sure whether they're a PlayStation development house or not, actually. I believe they could be, but then
But it never went any further than the PlayStation.
it did later on. There's Crash games on the Game Boy Advance, on
Yeah, there
on
was.
the PlayStation 2, that's the Sony console, on the Xbox 360, I should say,
Yeah.
the original Xbox.
Okay.
But this is the first time the original Crash games have been on a non-Sony system.
To be fair, I think the system itself is a good fit for it. Personally, I would prefer to own that on the Switch than on a PlayStation 4.
See, I would too. I agree with that. I would too, but not for the price point because it's not coming out until the summer. It would be on the Nintendo Switch. I can tell you now for about £50. By the time the summer comes around, the PS4 version would be worth less than £10. So why would you pay 5 times more so that you can take it out of the house and play it on your Switch for about 2 hours because then the Switch's battery life is so bad you only get to about 2 to 3 hours out of it. Anyway,
Maybe
so.
I'll wait till next summer and it'll be worth £20.
To be fair, like I said, I would like the Crash version on the. I'd like a lot of these Switch ports, but not for another 5 years until they're really, really cheap. And it would be a good way to play them on the go,
Yeah.
but cheap. Not now. There's no reason to pay £50 for these old games when you can get them for so much cheaper.
Yeah, I do see the point. I do see your point exactly.
So I just find it really hard that most people, it has got to that point, most people are really excited about the Nintendo Switch all the time. The system has this amazing buzz about it, and I just can't jump on the bandwagon. I'm really struggling because I've played all of these games before. So how can I get excited about games I've already got in my collection? How?
Yeah.
And how come other people are getting excited about this old stuff?
There's,
I just don't understand.
It's hard to defend.
I really don't get it. I cannot get my head around. And the only thing I hear people go, oh, because these games haven't been portable before. But the Switch isn't very portable. Yes, for 2 hours. Yes, for 3 hours. But that's all you're going to get at this stage out of the Switch on the go.
On Twitter, actually, recently I've been chatting to a few people and they have said, like, I'm scared to take my Switch out because I can't fit it in my pocket.
Yes.
I mean, there was...
Yes, to be fair,
Yeah.
me too. Mine's scratched to buggery
Yeah.
because it's so big and you're going to smack it about
Yeah.
if you take it on the go seriously. Like, most people don't travel around the world like I've done in the past. Like, I took my Switch across 4 different continents with me, so it got battered in the ridiculous commute. So yes, Switch ports. Let's move on from that. Let's talk about the non-ports. I suppose you had Mario Tennis Aces. I can't really say there's anything to complain about that. It looks decent. I really enjoyed Mario Tennis on the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance.
I don't think personally I could spend £50 or £60 on a tennis game. Personally, I haven't played the original, so I don't know how good they are. You've told me when we were actually watching it that it is really, really good. Maybe what I'll do is I'll borrow a copy off of you of the earlier ones, see how they play, see if I enjoy them. If I do, maybe I can get more excited.
See,
about
Mario Tennis is a game I would pay full retail for. I would pay the £50, provided it gets semi-respectable reviews. Like I said, something around the 80 mark. That's normally an indication of a good game.
Yeah.
90 plus, no. From my experience, that's an indication that it's probably too mainstream for my liking. But around the 80, I like a lot of games that get graded around that mark.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason to be particularly upset about Mario Aces. Maybe I'll enjoy it fairly soon.
Okay. And then they had all that nonsense, didn't they? About sushi game. There was that sushi. Game. Why?
Well, we said, like, as we were watching it,
This isn't culturally appropriate for the West.
that's
Why is it being released here? Like, why would Westerners want to play a game about sushi? Unless you're some, I don't know, some twatty hipster from, I don't know, who lives in Camden Town or in California or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, sushi's got quite big in inner cities around the globe.
But you wouldn't want to play a game about it. Why?
Yeah, no, it's like Fruit Ninja.
Okay, and the other game, what looks a bit culturally inappropriate in my opinion, is Splatoon.
Are we going on to this? Yeah,
I can see why it's huge in Japan, because it's got young-looking characters which appear to look sexualised to some degree.
And tentacles.
And tentacles. And apparently that's what people love in that part of the world.
Both the two most sexual things in Japan are young people and tentacles. So what isn't to love about that?
I don't want to be on this planet anymore. Seriously. What's wrong with the world? I just don't understand.
It's not particularly...
a nice place to live.
No. There's some stuff that I'm not happy about.
Okay, so moving past that, Toad's Treasure Tracker.
Toad's Treasure, again, another port.
Just a port?
You said when we were watching this that if they've got enough there, you were vaguely excited about a port. This is the first time I've heard you vaguely excited about a port.
Because they showed new content for Toad's Treasure Tracker, and it is one of the best games on the Nintendo Switch, in my opinion.
On the Switch?
On the Wii U, but they're the same system at this stage, by the looks of things.
Fair.
But just the game looked. It basically there was a few new levels, but they've not discussed in depth how much extra content's on there. Like I would need a significant amount of content to buy it again.
So this is something that you're potentially excited about,
but only if there's a significant amount of extra content.
But you need more information.
Yes,
that's fair.
And the same would go for their final announcement of the video as well, which was Smash Bros as well.
That was a big one. I mean, I called that kind of just before it happened. It was like a second Splatoon advertisement.
Yes, and I was like, Splatoon 3, of course!
And then Smash. I mean, to be fair, Smash is exciting.
If it's a new Smash and not just the old one ported with extra characters and extra levels.
Yes.
Which I can see they didn't specify. I can see Nintendo potentially doing it because, once again, most people didn't buy the Wii U, so they've got a game ready for the market. However, in the same notion as well, if they was going to port it, surely they would have had to. They would have liked to have stated that up front, since they've stated that every other time a game's going to be a port, haven't they?
The fact they made it a big release makes me think that it's probably not. Bear in mind they made that the main thing.
Yeah, I would assume it's a new game.
I think it has to be.
Yes, and I will play that, and I will pay the full £50 for it. So I suppose to be fair, wasn't a bad direct. Now we've talked about it and analysed it properly.
There was one more game.
What was that?
Which you weren't particularly excited about.
What's that?
But I think I almost swayed you.
What's that?
And that was that turn-based JRPG game. I can't remember what it was called. And you said the art style was awful. It was the 2D on 3D art.
We could have wrapped this up now, and I will go through this very briefly. I've got a gripe at the moment. And there's too many indie games around, or games inspired by indie games, where they do this odd mismatch of modern gaming and try and make it look retro simultaneously.
Yeah.
And they just look like ugly messes. Like, why? Why? It's 2018, for crying out loud. Make games look like they should in 2018. If I want to play a game from 1993, I just play a game released in 1993. Is that not simple? Seriously.
It is.
I believe it's just some cheap budget cutting way so that companies can produce games cheaply. So if they're making games like with just like pixels, they don't have to spend any money, do they? It's a way around spending money.
But
and I'm not buying
you
it.
did say the gameplay looks it had potential.
It did have potential.
So it could be worth playing.
But as we know, as well, bearing in mind my camera has to abide to EU regulations and can only record in 20-minute stints,
Yes.
I'm hoping now we have not surpassed.
Would you like me
the
to
20-minute
check?
mark. I don't want to leave this space, so let's just wrap now.
Okay, we'll wrap now.
Okay.
We might have to re-wrap.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our reaction to the Nintendo Direct. And to be fair, I think that was quite positive, don't you? I think we did pretty good. Considering as we was watching it, we were just like...
Yeah. There were some talking points. Personally, they weren't all ones that we were particularly excited about, but there were some talking points.
So basically, there was a couple of new games which are worth playing, but screw all those ports. Especially 3DS ports. Now, that is taking the mickey.
Yeah, that's a bit...
So yes, ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comment section if you are sad enough to buy the same games twice. Cheerio!
Born in London in 86, a mustachioed gent named Richard Parliament. He loves to wrestle, but he loves one more thing: handhelds round the world. He fights in his comments and he argues with fans. It's a problem no one understands. If there's two things he loves, it's gaming and handhelds round the world. Drinking fine wine, fighting fanboys, handhelds round the world.
Top Hat Gaming Man.